Welcome. I am Reverend Montclair, and this is Monday Church with Reverend Montclair. I am speaking to you as the sun rises on the summer solstice. I have to make it quick so that it doesn't get too strong, the sun, in this room with east windows. The summer solstice in Western culture pretty much just designates the beginning of summer, which for many is a time of celebration. But in the past, it is also a marking of time and of when the crops begin to be very fruitful. So it's a time of feasting. It is a time of celebration from all the hard work that went into the growing of the food. And yet, all of these markings of time with the changing of the seasons, mostly in Western culture, get lost in commercialism. It is time to buy something new for summer, time to, in the fall, buy the back to school stuff. In the winter, buy more clothes to keep you warm. Here, where I am, it's not a place that gets that cold in the winter, though it can get a bit cold, but not for long. It is a place where it gets too hot in the summer and even prior to the summer. So, how do we take care of ourselves in environments that are hostile? And that can be exterior environments like when it's over 100 degrees. It can be in this political climate where people are so hostile towards each other and where the government is hostile towards, I'd say, the majority of its people. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. One thing that is very important, and I've mentioned before, is to watch your breath. And when I say watch your breath, it means make sure you're taking a deep breath and not shallow ones. And make sure you're letting it all out. Because when we take shallow breaths, what we are is holding tension in the body. And the body knows that that means there's something wrong. So stress hormones are going to be released when the body is not breathing in a relaxed manner. When we get all up in our heads about being in a hurry or being in a feeling in a unsafe society, we forget to breathe, or we forget to breathe deeply. And when I say forget, it's unconscious matter or breathing, right? It's automatic. And so, therefore, we have to be careful. We have to be aware of the thoughts that we hold in our heads and how they're affecting our body, our physiology. And our body then affects more of how we are feeling and perceiving the world. Because if we are unconsciously breathing shallowly or carrying ourselves in a hunched over manner rather than standing up straight or even sitting up straight, then we are letting the body know that there's something to be cowered from, that there's something to hide ourselves from. And it becomes a loop of tension and fear. And sometimes our thoughts are not true to the situation. I know myself, I have carried a lot of fearful thoughts into my experiences and forget sometimes to breathe deeply. And with those fearful thoughts, I constantly have to challenge them because while these scenarios that I play out in my mind are possible, they're not always probable. I do not always feel safe in the world. Sometimes I wonder if I ever do. And that is something that I work on daily. In our society where there's so much, sorry, I'm shaking the table, where there's so much hatred towards women, it's difficult to feel safe when you're alone and walking around. And even though the place where I live now, I feel is a much friendlier place than many places I've lived, still there are men that want to overpower you, own you, desire you, no matter what you feel. And it is a threatening thing to be a woman in a society that does not value women. And even so, in our society, we have many women, many powerful women, many strong women who manage to be quite successful, to be very much empowered and secure in their lives. And sometimes that has to do with family, their upbringing. Sometimes it has to do with their partners, whom they've been with in marriage or in business, even. And in general, still, we are all responsible for our experience of the world. We get to analyze our behavior. We get to analyze the behavior of others. We get to decide if the programming that we grew up with, the beliefs, the values, if they're true. And we breathe. And everything in our society wants to draw you away from yourself and keep you from your intuition, keep you afraid, keep you off balance so that you buy something to fix that balance. So today, on the summer solstice, let's bring in more light to the darkened areas of ourselves, to the areas that may still harbor fears that might be unrealistic, that may still feel disempowered. Therefore, we have to empower ourselves. That may still feel like novice when you may have so much wisdom. So let's reveal the wisdom that we carry to ourselves. Let's reveal the strengths that we have. Let's reveal the connection that our heart brings to our experience and to the experience of others. Let's connect to our intuition, and often that means connecting to your breath. Because when we connect to our breath, when we pay attention to it, it helps us clear our mind. It helps our vagus nerve reset, which is an odd thing to think about, but our breath is connected. Our breath lets us know whether we're safe or not. And so when we need to feel safe, we need to breathe deeply in a relaxed manner, not in a hurried manner. Fully filling the lungs and allowing some peace to emanate from within. We live in a volatile country, this United States of America, and we've increased the volatility around the world by decreasing security, by decreasing expected and relied on sources of healthcare, of oil that helps transport goods like food. We have decreased the stability of the world. So, as a government and a nation, so how can we increase the stability of one person, of one way of being in the world? We breathe and we breathe out. Also, taking those thoughts that cause us fears and reiterates trauma that we may have experienced, we challenge them. We have to. Challenge them with their opposite. If you feel unsafe, breathe in and tell yourself, in this moment, I am safe. In this moment, I am safe. And look for the ways in which you are safe and supported in your life. Look for the ways where, when you move through your life, you have moved through it successfully and safely. I've been reading a memoir by Trevor Noah, and he speaks of growing up in apartheid South Africa, where his very existence was, as he says, a crime, because he is a mixed race. I'll use race in quotes because there really is no mixture of races within one human race, but that's the way it's framed. And the horrors of which he lived through as a child, unfortunately, when apartheid ended, did not end, because then the different societies of blacks, the different tribes, the different colors of people were at war with each other. And I expect things will be similar here when the sitting president passes, which probably will not be a long time from now, that there will be a vying for control and power. And perhaps this alone will be the undoing of these selfish, greedy, powerful, wanting everyone to be their slaves. And we'll see. So, yes, as the saying goes, we live in interesting times and we live in dangerous times. And yet, most of us, certainly not all of us, are safe to a great degree. Yet, most of us in this country may feel very much less so. And it is understandable. And it is not a it is not a false fear, but it is also not necessarily an immediate danger either. So while our stress levels may go up as prices rise, as private files of ours have been leaked to third parties with no good intentions, our norm has changed, and our norm has to be recalibrated of how we create safety in our lives. And that includes that we may need to create more community around ourselves, of people that can rely on each other, of places where you do feel safe, and of ways that you keep your own self mentally, emotionally, and physically more healthy than before. And health is our wealth. What I see are some very unhealthy, emotionally, spiritually, and in some cases, physically unwell people that are in the position of running this country into the ground. We have a we have a choice. We have a choice to be whole despite all of that. So breathe, release the negativity on your out breath. Breathe in your strengths and your wisdom, and breathe out the fears and the weakness. Breathe in, as my voice cracks, breathe in your courage, and breathe out those childish fears. So breathe in your wholeness and breathe in your separateness from the, to use a George W. Bush phrase, the evildoers. And it was interesting and heartening to see George W. Bush in attendance at the opening of Obama's center, presidential center. We have more interconnected pathways than we realize. I have friends that are on the other side of the political spectrum. I had relatives that have passed away that were on other side of the political spectrum. We don't always see eye to eye. And often these politics play our fears against ourselves and against our best choices. They use language to manipulate us, to make us lull into a passivity, like the ads for AI use or for these data centers that are using up the water and electricity. We have in our culture, in our government, it's like full speed ahead to disaster, to self-implode as a culture, a country, and a world. And that is driven by our unfortunately deluded evangelical population that want to bring on the end of times so they can rapture into the heavens and be with Jesus. Never mind that none of this was in the Bible. Never mind that this was invented in recent history. Never mind that they are intentionally, willfully, and excitedly killing creation, all of creation. And never mind that you nor I will ever get to Mars as a planet B. We have to stop living in our imaginations and start living in reality. And that reality is where your feet are, where you breathe the air in, where you have familial or friend connections, where you take care of yourself, where you do your best, where you allow yourself to shine, where you allow yourself to be your absolute best, where you choose to be on the path of your highest calling, where you are responsible for your life and you stop blaming others for it, where you alone are the one that can make or break you, where you are responsible for your happiness, your contentedness, and your safety, where you are responsible for your health and therefore make wise choices about it, about what you consume. That's the foods you eat. Be aware of what's in them, about the beverages you drink. Be aware of how they affect you and how most of us are dehydrated and need to really focus on drinking more water. And that water has to have minerals in it. And I'm not talking about mineral water, just a tiny pinch of sea salt will do it, because much water, whether it's bottled water, filtered water, especially reverse osmosis water, takes out the minerals, and then the water, as it goes into our body, is leaching minerals from our body because it's trying to complete itself. We have to be aware. We have to be aware of more than we ever knew we needed to be aware of. Like those of us that have pension plans and invest in the stock market, we have to be aware that those index funds and those BlackRock and all the others that use our money to increase war, is that along with your values? Is that in alignment with your values? For most of us, the answer is no. But we had advice to diversify that portfolio and put it into places where we will, make more money. And yet then we allow these megalomaniac entities to make a decision on our behalf to choose more war. How do we collude in that? Everything is being revealed slowly and sometimes quickly, of how cruel and inhumane and how selfish and greedy and egregious so much of the structure of our society has been, is, and will be, unless we make choices to disrupt the system, unless we make choices that stand on our holistic values. Breathe in, breathe out. We have a lot to attend to, and many of us don't want to bother. And that's why many of us subscribe to this or that religion so they don't have to think, don't have to don't have to evaluate what is moral or what is right or wrong, filtering through their own system, their own body, their own intuition. It's easy when you let someone else tell you what to believe or what to think, like our governmental offices. As a teen, I drove with my mom past a sign said governmental offices. And I was like, oh my God, that's right. They want to govern your mental capacities, facilities. So choose. Do you want to be free? Do you want to be wise? Do you want to be healthy? Do you want to be grounded? Do you want to belong to a sick society, or do you want to belong to yourself? And I have a little bug flying around. Do you want to belong to yourself? Do you want to belong in your skin? Do you want to belong in the place in history that said, this one was real? This one didn't let the system beat them down. This one was not controlled by myopics, was not controlled by the rich. They call them powerful, but they're not. They're weak, they're broken, they're so selfish and greedy and egregiously lacking compassion, even proudly lacking compassion, like Elon Musk. Oh, yes, compassion is weakness. No, Elon, you're a broken little boy. It is so apparent how bad your childhood was by how you behave. And that goes for most of these billionaire bastards. That goes for all on the Epstein files lists that were abusing children. That goes for all the serial killers. It goes for all of the murderers of women. They're broken, broken, broken. So how do we not let the broken break us? How do we not let the broken run society? The first step is to heal the parts of yourself that are broken. The first step is to be who you were meant to be, and that is a free spirit. And that does not mean no responsibility to others. It means a responsibility to your heart. It means a responsibility to human decency. It means being whole. And being whole is not always an easy task. Because being whole means you got to face the darkness in you. Being whole means you got to feel the pain that you grew up with. Being whole means you've got to face the demons that have thrown you off your path and get back on it. Not cursing them, but blessing your own path forward with the strength of your courage, your intuition, your heart, your passion, with every ounce of your fiber of being who you were meant to be. And if you are cowering in fear, that is not who you were meant to be. Follow inspiration, not to abuse, not to use, not to degrade, not to lift yourself up above others, but just to lift yourself up off the ground or beneath it, wherever it is your energy lies. So on this day of the longest day of the year, how about make the longest effort you've ever made to be whole, to be who you are. Today is a Sunday. Tomorrow, when you might see this, is Monday. Choose. Choose to be you. And that's not the you that is in reaction to something. It's the you that stands on truth, not on image. It's the you that stands in the center of your heart and moves forward in their lives through that space. Not from your head, not from all your ideas, but from your essence, from your center, from your core. Where's your core? Your core is not in your imagination. It's your soul. And your soul has a path that most of us are unaware of. But we can feel it when something truly resonates with us. And I recognize that resonance comes in many forms. If you're angry, you're going to resonate with anger, with others that are angry. If you're sad, you'll probably resonate with those that are sad. It's a different kind of resonance. I think I'm talking about a resonance that resonates with truth in your inner core when you are truly present. Not when you find your tribe that reflects all of your damage, like these horrible men that created a website to rape their wives when they're drugged. Are you kidding me? Or the girlfriends or whomever. Those are egregious choices that these men have made. All to waft the image of themselves as some kind of dominator. Oh my God, they're so sick. It's disgusting. So yeah, we've got a lot of ill people in this world, mentally ill, spiritually ill. Because a man's role as designated by nature, the ultimate nature, is not just to go sowing his seed wherever. It is to be the protector of that family unit. It is to be the protector of children. It is to be the protector of the woman that is impregnated by him, not the abuser. Any man that is abusing children and women is a weak man. That is not being a man. We have such a twisted and broken view of manhood in this society. And a lot of it has to do with war, because the only glory that men think they can attain is to be a warrior. And my voice cracks again. Being a warrior is not supposed to be a glory in and of itself. Being a warrior is to protect your family, not to beat your chest and be all domineering of others, cultures, and families. The colonial way is dying, and dying hard. So we'll see what happens in our transition, our next transition. Because certainly right now, we have lost our world standing, even while these uninformed, unintelligent people that are trying to be the tough guys on the world stage are ruining things, discarding allies, violating promises, as the United States government has always done. So we'll see what happens. But meanwhile, breathe. Love yourself. Love your path. And don't buy into the BS of your own mind that says you're not up to the task. Does it hurt to be real? Yeah. Does it take everything you've got? Yeah, that's what times we live in. Every human needs to step up now. That's what time we live in. So, blessings to you on your path on this day of the longest day of the year. And may you carry some of this light into your life throughout the waning of the light as the days get shorter. Remember the light. Remember the insights. Remember some of this positive, uplifting energy that is present today in the darker months, in the darker days of our souls. Let's remember who we are. Let's not get sold a, a BS story about who we're not. Yeah, and I'm glad for those that have really enjoyed the international visitors during this season of competition. Many have said how it's what they needed, this influx of celebration and enthusiasm and foreignness. Let's let some of the toxic familiarity go. Let's bring in some foreign ideas and experiences to balance all this madness that we've been living through. Let's let go of some of those fears and self judgments. Happy summer. May you walk in beauty, with beauty before you, with beauty behind you, with beauty above, with beauty below, with beauty within, and with beauty all around you. May you walk. Much love to you today and always. And remember to breathe deeply in the center of whom you are, in the core of your heart. Till next time, I am Reverend Montclair, and this is Monday Church with Reverend Montclair. Peace.